Okay, so good afternoon once again. My name is Kofi Che. We are going to go through the stock market, what it is about, who and who can participate, who are qualified, and so on. So we're going to make it very simple, as I said earlier on, so that we all understand. I'm going to mute everybody. Okay, so if you want to talk, raise your hand so that I'll unmute you. Okay, I hope you're okay with it. Okay, so let's begin with what stock exchanges. So when we talk about the stock market, we say it refers to a collection of markets or exchanges where there's regular activity of buying and selling and issuance of shares of publicly held companies. Let me explain it. So there are some keywords that have been mentioned here. So when you say a market, let's liken it to what we have in our local places. So for example, I'm familiar with the Makola market. All right. So for the Makola market, there are a lot of people buying and selling there. Okay. Sometimes you have the tomato market. All right, there are subsections of the market. So there's a part for tomatoes, there's a part for onion, there's a part for meat, and so on. So all these sectors of the market, they come together to form the whole Makola market. All right, the same way with the stock exchange, we have banking, we have petroleum, and there are others, agriculture, and so on. So when all these companies on the market, when they come together, they form the exchange, right? So the Ghana Stock Exchange is made up of companies, okay, companies that are in operations, as we can see. So for example, Standard Chartered Bank, okay, is a company, is a bank that is working, people going in and come out, but they are also on the Ghana Stock Exchange. There's a process that they get onto the Ghana Stock Exchange. We'll go to that, but simply all these companies, they find their way onto the Ghana Stock Exchange so that you and I can buy or can be part owners of these companies. Okay, so all these companies, when they find their way onto the market, there is what we call buying and selling. Anybody can go and buy some of the shares, okay? And if you want to sell to, you can do some on the same marketplace. Okay, so it's an area, it's where there is regular activities of buying, selling, and the issuance of shares. Issuance of shares is when another company that is not on the market, for example, Coca-Cola is not currently on the Ghana Stock Exchange. If Coca-Cola wants to come onto the market, we have what we call the issue shares. So they have to issue shares. You are making your shares available to the public to buy some of your shares. So it's a place that companies can make their shares available to buy and sell. So that's what we call the issuance of shares. Okay, so while both terms, stock market and stock exchange, they can be used interchangeably. Okay, it can be used, yeah. So when you hear stock exchange, when you hear stock market, it sometimes refers to the same thing, but the latter term is generally a subset of the former. So there's a whole market and the stock exchange. Okay, please, if there are questions, I don't want to move fast. I want to be very slow so that we're able to understand the issues as we move on. So if someone says that she trades in the stock market, it means that she buys and sells, okay, on one of the stock exchanges that are part of the overall market. So I mentioned that the latter, all right, the stock exchange is a subset of the stock market, all right? So when we say that someone buys and sells shares or equities on one or more stock exchange, it means that it's part of the overall stock market. Okay, when you are buying and selling, it means you are part of the overall stock market. We have the overall stock market, but please, let's not get confused. Let's just stick to the fact that they can be used interchangeably. All right, let's just stick to that. Though it is called stock market or equity market, you know, I've used 3 terms here: stock market, equity market, and stock exchange. They are, when we mention these 3 terms, they mean invariably like the same thing. So when you are speaking to somebody and he mentions these 3 things, that's what it means. So though it is called a stock market or the equity market, and it's primarily known for trading of stocks. When you hear stocks, it also means shares. When you hear shares, it also means equities. I hope you understand. So let's limit ourselves to that. We don't want to confuse the kids too so much. So when you hear equities, you hear stocks, you hear shares, they mean the same thing. They mean the same thing. Okay. So I use the market as an example. So I'm going to go through this scenario. So this market serves as a platform where numerous buyers and sellers meet. They interact and they transact. Okay, so since the number of market participants is huge, one is assured also of a fair price. Because Makola market is big and you can find tomato sellers all over the place. When you go anywhere, you can be sure that you can bargain and get a fair price. Okay, because Makola market is big, when you go to different corners where there's onion, there is fish, you know, because you can get competitors all over the place, you are sure that you will get a very good price when you go to the market because it's big. So if there is only one seller of tomato in Ghana, you will have the liberty to charge any price. You will have the monopoly over the sale of tomatoes. That means you can charge any price. And okay, so he has the liberty to charge a price that he pleases, as the buyers won't have anywhere else to go. So if the number of tomato sellers is large in the common marketplace, there will be competition. You can go anywhere. You can attract a lot of buyers. All right, the buyers will be spoiled for choice, and there will be price optimization, basically as that. So that is how the stock market is. A market is a place that anybody, once you are qualified, you have of the legal age, you can enter the place and do what you want to, as in you want to buy or sell. So a stock market is a similar designated market for trading various kinds of securities in a controlled, secure, and managed environment. Okay, unlike the Makola market, you know, there's hustling and bustling, people all over the place. But for the stock market, there is the environment is secure, it's managed. Okay, the Ghana Stock Exchange as an institution, even though we are mentioning the Ghana Stock Exchange, the Ghana stock market as a place of buying and selling, it is structured in a way that there are people that have been appointed by law to manage the place. So these people ensure that the place is secure, it is controlled, so that when you and I go there, we'll feel that, yeah, our funds are being put to great use. So since the stock market brings together hundreds of thousands of market participants, when I say market participants, what I mean is you and I and the traders, as well as any interested party. So who wish to buy and sell, it ensures fair pricing practices and transparency in transactions. While earlier stock markets used to issue or deal in paper-based certificates. The modern day computer-aided stock market operates electronically. So these days, we don't issue certificates. We won't go into that, but we want to just highlight on the meaning of what the stock market is. And I hope I've been able to achieve that. We now know the meaning of the Ghana Stock Exchange or any stock exchange. Okay, so in a nutshell, stock markets provide a secure and regulated environment where market participants can transact in shares and other eligible financial instruments with confidence and with zero to low operational risk. Okay, operating under a defined rules as stated by the regulator, the stock market acts as primary and secondary market. So with the stock market that I've explained, okay, before I mentioned earlier that there is a process that companies have to take to come onto the market. Okay, so we can't just say that Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola is operating in Ghana, we can just go and put Coca-Cola onto the stock market. There's a process that they have to take. And through that process, there's going to be an approval by the regulator. Regulator of the financial markets in Ghana is the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay, so the regulator will have to approve of the processes. Then after the approval, then they come onto the market. Okay, so when they are able to come onto the market, that's where we do the buying and the selling. Okay, so let me go through how some of the processes that they go through. So at the initial stage, we call it the primary market. We have what we call primary market and secondary market. Again, I don't want to bother you with these kind of terms because it might even confuse the kids. So primary market is the process where we go through the company's financials, their books, to ensure that they are of good level to come onto the main market. That is what we call the secondary market. So when they get onto the secondary market, that is where trading can start. So this is where, on the secondary market, this is where the real activity is. This is where the real activity, and this is where the students have to be educated more on, okay, because they are now on the market. Yes, so I'm going to share another screen. The screen will be the current prices of shares, or the current price of the shares as they're happening on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Okay, so kindly excuse me, let me just enter the market. So the site name, you can Google Ghana Stock Exchange. Okay, then you click on the first one. I understand that trading will be done in a month. We're going to publish the results as and when they come in. So if you look down the screen, we have what we call GSE stock feed. So these are the prices rolling down there. Okay, so CPC, you can see is 0.02. Das Pharma is 0.40. Digicat is 0.09. So this is what the kids are going to do. They are going to select any of the stocks that they want to select, all right? And they can say that this is what we want to buy. So for example, gold is 1 cedi, 81 pesos. With, as you can see here, is 1 cedi, 81 pesos. This is gold. So with this gold, the students can call us, or they can, there's going to be a WhatsApp group. It's going to be a WhatsApp group. So the students or the teachers can message on behalf of the students. So you send a message that they want to buy gold. So once they state that they want to buy gold, then we'll put that, let's say Mawuli has purchased gold today, on this day, and we'll put the current price. So let's say when you are buying it, you are doing the purchase tomorrow, and tomorrow the price is 1 cedi 85 pesos. We'll put the price 1 cedi 85 pesos. So along the line, we'll give you a dummy amount, like 10,000 cedis. I can illustrate it for you to see. We'll be doing the tabulation in our office here. So let's say Mawuli buys gold, 5,000 gold shares, okay, at 1 cedi 81 pesos. Okay, so in a month's time, when the price of this gold goes up to 2 cedis 30 pesos, it means you have made some return on it. You have made some income on it, all right? And when you make that income, and let's say Ola Girls also put in another order. For instance, they also put in that they want to buy MTN shares. Okay, and they're able to get it at, let's say, 1 cedi per share. And at the end of the period, the price comes to 83 pesos. It means Ola has lost value on what they purchased. All right, so that means Mawuli is going to be ahead of Ola. So all the time, the students are supposed to be very proactive to predict. They have to look at the market and see which ones are likely to go up. Okay, so I want to do an illustration in Excel. Okay, so you're giving a dummy amount of, let's say, 10,000 cedis, 10,000 cedis. Dummy amount, 10,000 cedis here. And Mawuli says he wants to buy gold. You can select as many stocks as you want, all right, so that there is diversification. So Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered. And another one, you want to buy MTN. Okay, so from this 10,000 cedis, all the shares that you are going to buy, the value should fall within this 10,000 cedis. So let's say you call us or you message it as you want to buy 5,000 gold, 1,000 Stanchart, and another, let's say 3,000 MTN. All right, so this is how you go about it. If you want to buy, let me put here amount. Okay, Ghana cedis, GHS. Let's say 5,000 gold shares. Okay, then you go to the market and you check gold shares. What is the price of gold? So you can look through the feed. This is gold. Okay, gold here is 1 cedi 81 pesos. You come back to your screen and you put 1.81. We'll be doing this, but I want to illustrate it for you to see so that in case you have the 10,000, you know how to fit the number of shares in the amount that we are giving you. And a Stanchart, you go back to your screen, you look for Stanchart. Stanchart is S, so this is the ticker for Stanchart. Stanchart is 20 cedis 30 pesos. 20 cedis 30 pesos. So you go back to your Excel and put 20.30. So this is price. And MTN, you go back to the screen, you look for MTN. Okay, so that is MTN, 83 pesos. You go back to your Excel and you put 0.83. So this 83 pesos. So means Goil is 1 cedi 81 pesos, StanChart 20 cedis 30 pesos, and MTN 83 pesos. So you multiply the price times the quantity. Okay, so price times quantity. Okay, already you have 9,000 Ghana cedis spent on Goil. Okay, so what you have to do is reduce the number of shares. So let's finish everything, then we can start reducing the amounts so that they can fit in the money that you have. So the same way you multiply StanChart, the price times the quantity. You do the same for MTN, price times quantity. Then you do an addition. Okay, already we've exceeded it. So 31,000 is not good enough. So how much money you have in your pocket, you multiply it by the cost of your transaction. So in this instance, you know that you have bought too much. So let's go back and reduce the number of shares for all of them. So let's say Goil, we reduce it to 500. StanChart 200. And the MTN 500. Okay, so you still have excess money here. So you can increase the StanChart to 500. I think 500 is also too high. You can make it 400 and see. Okay, so it's 560 here. We can reduce MTN to, let's say, increase MTN to 700. Go, let's move it to 700. So the motive is to reduce the excess amount. So let's put 750 shares here, 750 shares. Okay, so let's do 740 shares. No, 739, 738. So in all cases, you should ensure that you don't get a negative in excess, because the amount of money that you have and the number of shares that you put in, they should be able to buy. Just as you'll be giving money to go to the market, to go to Makola market to make some purchases, you should ensure that the amount of money that you have is what can be used to buy. Okay, so in this instance, we have bought 700 Goil shares. We have bought 400 Standard Chartered shares and MTN 738 shares. Okay, so as time progresses and as the competition goes on, you can call us and say, oh, let me sell some of my Goil shares. So you can say, I'm selling some of the Goil shares. Okay, then when you sell, you can say, use what you have gotten to buy different shares. So let's say, for example, in about 2 weeks, the price of Goil goes to 2 cedis 60 pesos. It moves from 1.81. So let me copy this sheet and send it here. Okay, so in let's say week 1, these are your purchases you make. So in week 2, let's say week 3, you realize that MTN, Goil shares is now 2 cedis 30 pesos. And 2 cedis 30 pesos, and Goil and StanChart 2 has risen to 2 cedis 50 pesos. Okay, and MTN has also risen to 1 cedi 50 pesos. So this is what you have in store now. I'm not making an error here. Let's time this. So it's the price times the quantity. It's the price times the quantity all the time. No, Stand Chart is 20 cedis point 50. Because I wasn't seeing. And the MTN has risen to 1 cedi 50 pesos. So this is a scenario we have here. So it means all the prices have started going up. So MTN Goil is 2 cedis 30 pesos, Stand Chart 20 cedis 50 pesos, MTN 1 cedi 50 pesos. If you look at the difference, you realize that all of them, they've made some gains. So you can do the current, this is the current, what the KEZA is on is the current value or is the weekly value for Goil. So you can take it out from the week 1 value, that's the cost of the purchase. You realize that your student has gained 343 Ghana cedis on Goil alone. All right, you can do the same thing for Standard Chartered Bank. You take the current, the weekly value from the week 1 value, and you realize that he's made 80 Ghana cedis on Standard Chartered alone. You can do the same thing for MTN, the current or the weekly value versus minus the week 1, that's the purchase price. So in all, your students would have made 917 Ghana cedis on what he has done so far. In the same way, you can go the reverse. You can go the reverse. So let's say, for example, Goil goes down to 1 cedi. Stand Chart remains the same. MTN goes to 3 cedis. You realize that there's still a gain here. If you do the tabulation, even though your student has lost value with the purchase of Goil going down to 567 Ghana cedis, the overall transaction is now 1,114. Okay, okay, Prosper, you can unmute yourself and speak. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello. Your Excel presentations are not showing on our screen.
The Excel is not showing.
Yes, it's not showing. We're only following the audio presentation.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I thought it was actually showing. So is it showing now?
Oh. Yes, it's not showing.
Oh, okay. Then I have to go over.
You have to go over. Yes.
Good. All right. So this is it. So let's say week 1 of the competition, Maole Secondary School calls us that we should buy these stocks for them. So Goil, Standard Chartered Bank, and MTN. All right. You are given 10,000 cedis to do this transaction. All right. So you have to ensure that the shares that you buy, it will fit within the 10,000 cedis. Okay, you pick the current price. I hope you, okay, so first and foremost, you have to know the prices of these companies. Then you can proceed in putting in the figures. Okay, I like the smile on your face, Prosper. I like the smile on your face. Okay, so with this, you can go to the screen as I showed you earlier on. Okay, so let me just do it, share screen. All right, so this is where the prices are. You look through this, the bottom of the screen, you realize that the prices are rolling down there. So you go through it and look for Goil. All right, you go through it gradually, slowly. Please, if you can see the screen, you can let me know so that I adjust to it. So Goil is here. Goil is 1 cedi 81 pesos. You pick the price and you put it there. All right. So 1 cedi 81. let me remove all these here, the shares here, and remove all of them. I hope you can see the screen, the Excel.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, good, 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 wonderful. All right, so we are picking the prices first before we proceed. So the next company is what? Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, Standard Chartered Bank, you go back to the website, you look for Standard Chartered Bank at the bottom of the screen. So Standard Chart is S. So this is SCB, Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, so it's 20 cedis, 30 pesos. Go back to the Excel, you put 20 cedis, 30 pesos there. Then the next company is MTN. MTN, you go back to your screen here, look for MTN here. You can, MTN is M, so this is MTN, 83 pesos. You pick the price, and you come and put it there. Please note that the students are not limited to buy these companies. There are a lot of companies on the Ghana Stock Exchange, so they can select any one of them that they think is okay. So week 1, this is your 10,000 cedis. You know the prices here. So you can start putting in your shares. Let's say your students want to buy 700 Gold shares, 500 Standard Chartered shares, which has exceeded what you have. So you can go 300 Standard Chartered shares and MTN 800. Okay, so you realize that you still have to buy more in order to utilize, this is the balance, the total cost. The total cost of the shares, 8,021. Okay, so it means you have an excess of 1,978. Let's bear in mind, this values here is price, this price times the number of shares. When you multiply this and this, you get this. Okay, that is how we go about it. So price times the quantity is the value of what you are getting. So it's the same for Standard Chart, price times quantity, you get this. Price times quantity, you get 664. So you put all of them together, they get your total cost, how much you have spent so far. Okay, so from this angle, you realize that when you take away the 10,000 cedis from the 8,021, you still have 1,979 there in your pocket. So you can utilize all the money, all right? You have the option to say that it's not forced, you can also leave the cash in there. The point is that you need to get value. You need to earn more than you are earning today. All right, so I would like to utilize the whole amount. So I will put 850 MTN. It will reduce the little, let's say 1,000 MTN. It's still not enough. Let's go and have 1,000 Gold shares. We still have some balance in there. We can increase Standard Chart to 380. 370 shares. We want to come down 350. Okay, so 355, 358. So you have to ensure that if you don't want to utilize the whole amount, it's not compulsory. All right. Yes, if you're giving money, you have to make value for what you have. All right. So for me, it's going to be left with 92 cedis. All right. I want to keep this 92 cedis in my account and still monitor the market. All right. So for the same number of shares, in week 3, you bought this thing is in week 1, these shares. In week 3, all right, the prices can change. They can remain the same. So in changing, they can go up or come down. All right. What you are looking for is to make some money in your portfolio or in your account. So for the same number of shares, Standard Chart is 358 and the MTN is 1,000. This is for the same number of shares. So let's say gold dropped to 1 cedi here. This is week 3. gold dropped to 1 cedi. Standard Chartered Bank went up marginally to 20 cedis 50 pesos. Okay, and MTN rose to 3 cedis. So this is what it means. It means that on GOIL, you have lost 810 Ghana cedis. Standard Chartered Bank, you have gained 72 Ghana cedis. Okay, on MTN, you have gained 2,170. So in all, when you put all your figures together, it means your whole portfolio, you have gained 1,431 cedis, 60 pesos. Okay, so on this, you have still made some gains on your portfolio. Okay, and it can also change in either way. So let's say in week 3, the same week 3, the price doesn't change for GOIL, but for StanChart, you have gained, you have lost again to, the price goes down to 19 cedis. And MTN, the price goes to, let's say, 4 cedis. Okay, in the same way, GOIL didn't change, you have gained 0 there. StanChart, you lost 465 Ghana cedis, 40 pesos here. MTN, you have gained 3,000 cedis. So the overall portfolio, you have gained 2,704 cedis, 60 pesos. It can go any way, all right? It can also be that the price of StanChart doesn't change and MTN too doesn't change. It means you haven't gained anything on the money that you have invested, and that is also not good enough. All right, it means you've wasted the money for a whole period. Okay, once it's a stock market, you have to ensure that the money is
741 first.
Okay, you have to ensure that the money is put into companies that you gain some return. Okay, so week 1, week 3, when you go to, let's say, week 4, let me just copy the whole. Make here week 4. Okay, so with week 4, the same number of shares. GOIL goes to 2 cedis. StanChart goes to 21 cedis. And MTN goes to 1 cedi 50 pesos. Okay. All right, that means you have gained a lot on these shares. When you look at the difference, GOIL, you take away what you are making today and take it out from the original price you bought it. So 2,000 cedis minus the cost, the original one, that's the week 1. You take it from it. Sorry. So 2,000 cedis minus the original cost. That means you've gained 190 Ghana cedis on GOIL. Standard Chartered Bank, the current price or the current amount, you take it from the original, the first purchase price. You've gained 250 Ghana cedis on it. You do the same for the third stock minus MTN, the original cost. So this is it. So what this means is that you have gained about 1,018. 1,018. Okay, and for a smart broker or for a smart person that is trading, you can say that, this money, let me invest it again, because this has become like an excess money for you. All right, you can decide to keep it like that. All right, or you can also say that, let me put more into GOIL, let me put more into StanChart, or let me put more into MTN. All right, or you can go back to the market again and pick any of them that you think or you feel will also do well. So in this instance, let's go and pick Société Générale. Okay, so we are going to week 6. because week 4, you made this amount of money. In week 6, you are making money. So maybe at the end of week 4, you decide that, let me invest more. So let's say, now let me just put here, week 4 ending. All right, at the end of the period, maybe you want to add Société Générale to it. So you create Société Générale. All right, so the 1,110 Ghana 60 pesos you can invest in this. So that means your amount available will be 1110.6. That's the amount of money you have in excess, because these shares, you have them already. All right. So with this one, you can sell. You can tell us that, boss, I want to sell to gain so that I remove this money and put it in Société Générale. Okay, so we can do the calculation of which ones we want to sell. So when you sell 200, let's say 200 of GOIL. Please, I hope we are on the same page. I'm not confusing anybody here. Okay, so you can say you want to sell 200 of GOIL. 200 of GOIL. You want to sell, let's say 58 of Standard Chartered Bank, and you sell 200 of MTN. Let's do the calculation and see whether we'll hit the 1,001 that we wanted to get. Okay, so it has actually gone up a little, so you can reduce some of them. So 50 here. Let's say 150. 150. So let's say we are selling up to this value, 1,575. All right, you are selling up to this value. So that means your GOIL value, the figure of GOIL will be the original number of shares that you bought minus this 150 shares. Because you want to sell this number of shares to raise some money to buy Société Générale. Okay, so when you do the selling, it will be left with what, 850. Okay, then you do the same for the Standard Chartered Bank. The original number of shares, take it out from 50 shares here. To enter it is 308. All right, MTN, original number of shares, you take it out of what you want to sell. So it's now 850. This is the number of shares you have. So this is the current value of these shares that you have. Even though you have an excess value of this 1,575. This is how much you have in your account after selling these shares. So this is sell. After selling these shares. So you sold this number of shares to raise this money. So you have to use this same money here to buy shares in Société Générale. So then again, you go back to your screen and look for Société Générale amongst them. Société Générale is S. So you look for S, and this is it. Société Générale is 1 cedi, 17 pesos. Let's say at the time that you are buying it. So you put the price 1 cedi, 17 pesos. All right. In this same instance, you would have to buy to ensure that it fits this value here. That is the 1,575. Okay, so we can make it easy for us by just putting the amount that we have minus the cost of the stock. So the 1,575 is here. So we'll put in, let's say, 500 Okay, there's still plenty money at the back there. 800, there's still plenty money. 1,500, 180 in red. You can go back. Okay, so there's 54 cedis in your account now. All right, so that means at week 4 ending, you have added another stock to it, another company. Okay, so now week 1 you had 3 shares, but now no 3 holdings in 3 different companies. But week 4, at the end of the period, because you're able to gain on all the shares that you bought, you've added another company to it. And this is a very innovative way to turn your money around. That is if the prices are going as planned. Okay, so at the end of the week 4, you have this amount. But let's continue as time goes on. We copy this one. As time is moving, let's say week 6. When we go to week 6, is 41. Okay, 1.75. Goal is 850. Goal is 850. This is 308. 308. This is 850. MTN is 850. And this is 1,300. And the prices to 1.17, 1.5, 21 cedis, and 2 cedis. And the total. Okay. Sorry, I didn't add this to it. That's how come there's a difference. Okay, so you have the same values here. So let's say week 6. When you come to week 6, the prices, they don't remain the same, the prices change. Let's say week 6 and there's economic, so there are some issues in the financial sector, all right? And all of a sudden, this one goes to 50 pesos. This one comes to 10 cedis. This one comes to, let's say 90 pesos. And this one goes to 20 pesos. So what this means is that all the money that you put in the stock market, your value now is 4,530 cedis. That means you have lost drastically. Okay. In the same way, the market can be very good. All right, the market can be very good, and the prices can also shoot up. Let's say gold goes to 3 cedis, Standard Chartered goes to 15. Standard Chartered goes to 22 cedis. MTN goes to 2 cedis 90 pesos, and Societe Generale goes to 2 cedis. In the same way, when you look at what you have at the end of week 6, let's say week 6 is the end of the competition. All right, it's the end of competition. All right, you are able to make 14,391 Ghana cedis. When you take this one from how much you were given, that's the original 10,000 cedis, means you've made 4,000 cedis on it, and that is quite impressive. All right, in the same way, it can be very varied. It can be very varied. You can have, let's say, 1 cedi here, you can have 22 cedis here, you can have 2 cedis 90 pesos here, and you can have, let's say, 1 cedi here. All right, the gain has reduced, and it goes on and on. All right, all you have to do is to ensure that you select the right companies. You select the right companies, and by selecting the right companies, you can check online, or we can provide you with some more information how they have all performed. Okay, so that you know that you are selecting the right company. Okay, I think this will be the end of my presentation. If there are any questions, please let me know. I'm going to ask all of you to unmute so that you can ask your questions. Okay, so Prosper, is there any question? Mr. Prosper.
Well, you saw me smiling some time ago.
Yeah, yes.
You realize I was smiling.
Yeah.
I had similar encounter while I was doing my master's. I was doing investment portfolios and they were taking us through this kind of process. That is why I was smiling. It's just like I'm trying to recap some of the things I learned in the past.
Okay.
Now, you realize that the stock is not a fixed market. Prices will change. Sometimes even within the day, prices will change. And then before the day ends, hello?
Hello, I'm following, please.
Now, so how somebody wanted to invest in the stock, how do you monitor the price in index so that you be able to know that this stock of this company does well than the other?
Okay, if I got your question right, you're asking how do you monitor the prices? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so in monitoring the prices, the GSC, Ghana Stock Exchange, has this feed. All right, this is where you monitor the prices. All right, so just at below the screen, I hope you can see the GSC website.
Yeah.
So this is it. With the price as of Tuesday is this. So these are the prices rolling down the screen. But you see, there are many avenues on the website. When you go to the daily shares trades, they are all here. We don't want to confuse the kids. That's why we don't want to go too deep. All right, but if you want to do some further research, you can enter into market reports. You can go into market trends so that you can also check how prices have been in the past period. Okay, so this is a platform you can check how the prices are doing or the companies are doing. Hope I've answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then again, a young investor wanted to invest in this. We know we have particular professional who trade at the stock. One cannot just walk in the stock and trade. What are the processes of investing in the stock?
Can you come again? The question is not very clear.
I said, at the stock exchange, we have professionals who do this. We have brokers, we have one individual cannot just walk to the stock market and then begin to trade. You have to do your trading through the professional.
Yes.
So as a young investor, how do you become such a professional in order to maybe help in trade at the stock? That is my interest.
Okay, so it is true that you need to be a licensed broker before you can execute some trades. You need to be licensed, and you need to have the capability. There's also a license that you need to have before you can even advise anybody to even buy or sell. Okay, but you know, the market has to be accessible to everybody. All right, we want to break that kind of bridge a little to make it more accessible. So one of our sponsors, IC Securities, all right, there's a platform that the student, the young investor himself, can enter and buy. That's why we are going through this training, so that when they get to the mature age, they can have access to the platform and they'll be doing this kind of trades themselves. So this is a kind of a training platform. So when they get to that level and they're able to have access to it, they will just go through just a little process before they can be buying and selling on their own. Okay, but as it stands now, people who trade and advise, they are all licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Is there any question for us?
Yeah, mine goes like this. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. You talked of a site where you can have access to the previous prices.
Yes.
Please, can you remind us?
So, okay, so this is the website. I don't know whether you can see my screen. Yes, so the current screen is the website. It is www.gsc.com.gh/list companies.
Okay.
So on this same site, you can have the name. See, I was mentioning the names of the company. So Agricultural Development Bank, the short name is ADB on the stock market.
Yeah.
And so all of them are here. So Benson Oil Palm Plantation, the short form is BOPP. Cow Bank is here, the short form is CAL. So all the names of these companies are here. When you go to the website, you even have the dates that they were listed and so on, right? More of the information, we don't want to go into it, we don't want to confuse the kids, but let's just stick to the basic stuff. As they progress, as they stick being with us, Young Investors Network, we will teach them to understand the rest of the information. So for now, it's just the prices as they are rolling down the screen, the names of the companies, they are symbols, all right? And in case you want to find out how they've been performing, you can click on the market statistics. All right, there's a market report, there's market trends. When you click on them, you can have access to how they have performed in the past.
Okay, so talking about the prices too, when you study the previous prices carefully, is it possible you predict the future one, say like Friday?
Yes, if you're able to study the previous performance very well, it is likely that you can get the future correct, even though it's not guaranteed. You understand? It's not guaranteed because it's an economy that we are all running. All right, anything can happen. So
Yes.
when IMF says they're going to help us, it's a boost. It's a boost for the economy. If they say they won't help us, they will say, hey, the people will start running away. All right.
Yeah.
And so all these factors are factors that will help. So if inflation starts to drop, then yeah, it's also good news. So it's not guaranteed. You can look at the past prices, but it's no guarantee that in the future it is okay. It will be the same.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioning inflation, I think it's one of the indicators or factors that affect the prices. Any other?
Okay, interest rate and the foreign exchange. Yeah. These are the main factors that affect the stock market activities. Are you okay now? Is there any more questions? Okay, so I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our Communications Director, Young Investors Network. That is Julius Sati. So Julius is a Communications Director, is a media person, and he will be carrying this story out there for us. So Julius, if you can hear us, you can say hi, and so that we can move on. Julius K. Sati.
Yeah, good afternoon. I believe we are all doing well. Yes, so I've been in the meeting. I think I was kicked out by network situations, so I came back when you were almost finishing.
Oh, okay.
but I believe it's been insightful, and the teachers around have learned a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So as I said, it's being recorded, so we're going to share it on our podcast.
All right, sure.
So are there any more questions, please?
Well, on my part, I don't have much questions.
Okay.
If I do, maybe later we can communicate.
Right. Okay. So since you all have my number, I would want to ask that if there's anything to you can directly get in touch with me. But we are always available to assist you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.